She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA.
It's eye-opening what Rebecca Lobo has to say about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA referees. The league can't ignore this any longer because the questionable officiating in the Fever vs. Sun game has highlighted what many are calling the Caitlin Clark effect. Poor refereeing like this could seriously harm the WNBA's reputation. Recently, WNBA legend Rebecca Lobo spoke out, warning that the situation is being mishandled. If anything, it seems the league hasn't learned how to properly manage its star player, Caitlin Clark. She revealed what's being said behind closed doors in the league regarding the officiating. The WNBA might not like it, but it needed to be addressed. Let's take a closer look at Lobo's comments and the unfolding story of the Fever, which is exciting in some ways but also highlights serious concerns about how the WNBA handles live games. First, check out this video. Clearly, the referees seemed unprepared, often missing calls and holding extra whistles as if they weren't using the ones they already had. For more updates on Caitlin Clark and the Fever, stay tuned and subscribe. Clearly, the WNBA could use a refresher on officiating standards, so let's take a look back at what's happened.
The second-year player clearing out that side of the floor, shooting on Stewie, and then watch the reaction with one another. Stewie's laugh.
Caitlin Clark made a spectacular return a few games ago. In the first half alone, she put up 25 points, including 3 logo shots in just 38 seconds. Her performance was electrifying and reminded everyone, not just her fans, who truly leads the team.
Down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark. 2 players with incredible up. Clark, another long 3.
Everything was summed up in one undeniable truth. Caitlin Clark is indispensable to the WNBA. Her absence for 5 games wasn't just a small mistake. It became a public relations misstep that led to lower viewership, reduced social media engagement, a plateau in national attention, and the growing perception that any WNBA storyline without her was just background noise. Clark's return revitalized the league after weeks of declining ratings and mounting pressure. The matchup against the Liberty became one of the most watched WNBA broadcasts ever, peaking at 2.8 million viewers. For context, the NHL's Stanley Cup Finals averaged 2.5 million viewers. While basketball and hockey aren't exactly the same, Caitlin Clark recently drew a bigger audience than a men's sports league with over a century of history in its championship round. Despite this, WNBA leadership seems to have largely overlooked the importance of her impact, something we'll address shortly. However, Olympic gold medalist and Basketball Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo clearly hasn't missed it. Before diving into her remarks about the referees, let's first see how she described just how monumental Clark's comeback truly was.
But here we go with Caitlin Clark, singularly, being missing for the time she was gone, and ratings tanking. 50% in some cases. And then also she comes back and reminds everyone how spectacular she is. And everybody's talking about the WNBA. So if you needed to sort of have it affirmed to you that it is just her, that the singularity of her is what we are talking about and her star power, you got it with this absence and then the way she came back.
Pay close attention to Rebecca Lobo's statement that viewers are returning. Though simple, it speaks volumes. It shows that audiences had tuned out and that everyone clearly noticed the exact moment Caitlin Clark was absent. Lobo went on to explain why, as soon as Clark came back, fans began rushing back to the games.
Tell me, what does Clark's return mean for the WNBA?
Well, I mean, it means a lot more people are paying attention once again. We know how much Caitlin drives ratings. We know how much Caitlin drives attention on the WNBA. And for her to come back and do it in that way was just ridiculous.
That's the key point. Very few athletes, if any, from other teams can hit these logo shots as consistently and effortlessly as Caitlin Clark does, which is why fans are glued to the action. These aren't ordinary deep threes or long twos. The moment Clark crosses the midcourt line, even Natasha Cloud, who hasn't always been kind to her own fans, has to recognize that she must be defended. As Rebecca Lobo points out, This level of play is far from normal.
I'm sitting there at the end of the first quarter when she had that 38-second stretch where she drained deep three after deep three after deep three. I was just sitting there thinking, I've been around this league since 1997. I have never seen that in a WNBA game. Have we seen players go on runs? Of course we have, but not like that. Not where a couple of the three-pointers are from 30 plus feet. It was an exhibition by her.
The fact that we're seeing such a clear pattern, and that even seasoned WNBA insiders like Rebecca Lobo are speaking out about it, makes what's been happening even more concerning. This isn't just since Caitlin Clark's return. It stretches across the entire previous season and into this one. On top of that, the league should have taken stronger action during the matchup against the Sun.
It was just ridiculous. It's not often that you're watching the WNBA or that I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, I've just never seen this before.
Caitlin Clark was effectively double-teamed by JCS Sheldon and Marina Berry, who body-checked her on the court after a swipe to the face. That said, even if Clark had exchanged words with Sheldon earlier, insults never justify physical attacks. The league can't allow itself to descend into WWE-style chaos and then expect to recover. Coaches, commentators, fans, and players alike were all visibly shocked by what happened.
This angle is wild, folks. There's the eye gouge. Watch Mabry. Boom! I mean, come on.
Naturally, the most talked about moment was Caitlin Clark being clawed and shoved, but the referees largely ignored the escalating tension that had been building throughout the game.
Hey, we would have been crashing out, RT.
Courtney, if somebody ever tackles you like that,
Nobody would ever tackle me like that. They would play with Bridget like that, and then we would have to like take it up there.
okay.
You see what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying,
Nobody would ever
if,
tell me like
if that ever happened, you better crash out behind me, because I'm crashing out behind you.
See,
We can share the same jail cell.
From simmer to boil, the tension escalated quickly. After the game, Stephanie White's frustration was obvious in her body language. She sat down, took a deep breath, and let out her emotions fully before even speaking.
This is JC Sheldon right here with an entire handful of Caitlin Clark's shoulder and bicep, and she's twisting it. Okay? I mean, this is wild. Here's the zoomed out look, the snapshot. I mean, this league does not have control of its.
The problem isn't limited to one game. Missed calls, inconsistent officiating, and rough treatment of Caitlin Clark have been ongoing all season. Players are faster, stronger, and more skilled than ever, but the referees aren't keeping up. The Fever's 90-88 loss to the Liberty highlighted the issue, with one-sided fouls, free throw disparities, and critical missed calls in the final moments. Fans, players, and coaches are frustrated, and some are now forced to play more physically to protect their teammates. Rebecca Lobo has been vocal about this, pointing out that coaches agree the officiating is a serious problem. If the league doesn't address it, it's creating a dangerous environment where players feel compelled to take matters into their own hands.